Good morning, good evening, good morning, Nitin. And in 5-10 minutes, we'll start the class. So thank you all. Thank you for everyone joining in. And so thank you all. And we will begin shortly. Thank you. So thank you all. Good morning, good evening, actually, for India. Abhishek Khandelwal, Abhishek, good evening to you. And we'll begin. And the next 5 minutes, and we'll start our session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining the session. I will start with the introduction. Thank you all. Thank you, everyone, for joining the session. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the session. I hope you all can hear my voice. In GoToMeeting, there is a audio option and you can select it for hearing my voice. Okay. So, thank you all. Thank you for joining the session, and we'll begin shortly. As a lot of people are joining, so we'll start in a short period of time. And thank you all. Couple of minutes, and then we'll start our today's session. So thank you. And please make sure that you are able to see my screen. So this is my desktop. I hope you are able to see my desktop, and you are also able to see my screens, and you are able to hear my voice. In GoToMeeting, there is a chat box, and you can type any SAP related questions in the chat box. Okay. So there are chat box. Now, what are we doing? What is our agenda? What we are doing today? What we're going to do in other classes? So we will we'll continue to talk about all those different things, right? And why are we doing this session? And what is the purpose of this session? Okay. So thank you again for joining the session. So what is the goal? Okay. What is the goal of the training? So what is the goal of the training? So training, the goal is to make you SAP Business One 10.0 consultant. So goal of this course, so you know what we are trying to achieve, is to make you SAP Business One 10.0 consultant. SAP B1 10.0 is latest version of SAP Business One. Okay. So that is our course goal. Okay. That is the goal. Okay. Now, what is SAP B1? So first thing is, what is what is SAP B1. Many people may not be doing all that and all that. So SAP is a German company, as you might know, right? SAP is a German company, as you might know, and SAP B1 is SAP's ERP for small, medium businesses. So this is basically a SAP's product. Thousands of company uses it. We'll talk about and all that and all that. So this is our goal. Goal is to make you SAP, if you wanted to be SAP Business One consultant. Okay. Now, how are we going to do this training? So training timeline. Training will be every week, Monday to Friday, 8 p.m. IST for approx 90 minutes. Okay, 90 minutes. So it is going to be 90-minute session every evening. Okay. Second part is you will get. I will be doing theory. I will be doing theory and also real-time practicals in SAP software. So we will be doing both. So we will go to theory and we will also do real-time practicals in a SAP software. Every class will be video recorded, and video recording will be provided to you all. So you will have a video and then video will be provided to you all, so you have access to the video. We will also provide SAP B1 10.0 certification material to you all. Okay. So we're going to provide SAP Business One 10.0 certification material to you all. So you will have a video, and video recording will be provided to you all. So you have a video recording. You can play that class every time. And we will also provide SAP B1 certification material also to you all. Okay. Now, another thing is, a lot of people was asking, okay, why are we doing this training for free? There is no charge. In fact, SAP will charge approx 90,000. If you go to training to SAP, they will charge you 90,000 for this. Okay. And but we will not be charging any fee to you all. No fee. at all. So we will not be charging any fee to you all at all. And why that is the case? Because Kabir, as a part of corporate social responsibility, we thought what we can do for society. Means what we can do, right? We are not a prime minister. We are not a minister of the state. We are not a, we are a SAP software company. So as part of our corporate society, what we can do for you, what we can do, we have a lot of joblessness. We have a lot of economic situation, which is not good in India and across the world for that matter. So what we can do for the people, limited token. This is a very small token we can do for the people, right? So I'm a teacher myself. I've been teaching and I'm doing SAP for past many, many years, 22 years. I've been doing SAP. I will briefly introduce myself as well. So as a part of corporate responsibility, we say that, okay, at least some of the, educated youth, if we can provide training to them, and if they can make a career from it, SAP is a great career for a lot of people. I owe my career to SAP. So SAP is a great career. So we can probably do this to society as part of our social responsibility. We have done that in the past also. We have done that in the past also. And now, when due to COVID, we have serious job situation and economic situation. So this is as a part of that corporate responsibility we want to do. We do not need anything. It is just our contribution, what we can do as a being a social person to the corporate, nothing else. Okay. Can we see, sir, including this screen? Yes. Oh, can you not see my screen? Yeah. I hope everybody can see my screen. Okay. So that is what we are doing this training. Somebody asked the question, how long it will take? So how long this training will take? So we are targeting 5 weeks and 5 days per week. So approx 25 days course. Now this can change obviously, but that's approximately we are charging that in 4 to 5 weeks. Sometimes we take a little bit more, sometimes we take a little bit less, but let's assume that in 5 weeks time frame, we can do this training. We can finish this training. Okay, my photo. Nothing there in my photo, Alam. I'm ugly looking. So let us begin the course. So I think I clarified what we are doing and how we are doing what we are doing. Just briefly introducing myself to the people, because many of people know me, know my background and all that. Some of you probably don't know. So just to give a little bit of my background from where I'm coming from. So my personal background, so the people know who the teacher is. So I'm going to be a primary teacher. I will be using other people also. So other people will also be helping me in this course. So this is my background. So I'm doing SAP since 98. October 10th, 1998. I started SAP. It's almost 22 years. I'm based here in the US since 2001. It's almost 19 years I'm in the US. I was associate partner with IBM doing the SAP implementation. And I was also senior director with Accenture and Capgemini in New York. I also teach. I'm professor with a couple of universities. I don't work anywhere. I'm president of Kabir, and I did many implementation of SAP in last 22 years. I'm a mechanical engineer by the training. I might have already taught maybe 4,000 students in SAP. I don't know how many, but I taught many thousand people in SAP. So that's briefly my background. Let us begin our course. So how is our course going to be? Okay. So in the course, there are primary 2 PDF which we're gonna cover. So the first PDF we're gonna cover is TV1000. You see the TV1000 logistic. And the second PDF which we're gonna cover, which I'm going to cover and our team we're gonna cover, is TV1100. So we will be covering. So the course course include TV1000 and TV1100. These are 2 S own certification training material. Okay. So if you want to go SAP certified, this is what you will be learning. Okay. TV1000 is about logistic. So first we're going to talk about logistics. This is the first PDF. This is first PDF. Then we're going to talk about TV1100, and that is for accounting. And this is going to be our second PDF. Okay. 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 So that is what basically means. So now what is the course curriculum? So in the TV logistic, this is the 8th unit. Okay. So here we have an overview, the unit number 1. Then we're going to talk about the purchasing processes. Then we're going to talk about sales processes. Okay. Then we talk about item and inventory processes. Then we talk about the bill location. Okay. Okay. Then we're going to talk about pricing processes. Then we're going to talk about production processes. Then we go talk about the service processes. So unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, unit 5, unit 6, unit 7, unit 8. So these are going to our 8 unit. In the accounting, so the second PDF, this is our second PDF. Okay, so this is our second PDF, TV 1100 Accounting, SAP Business One version 10.0. 10.0 is the latest version of SAP. Now, in this, we will talk about, accounting basics. We're going to talk about financial setup, financial processes, bank processes, controlling processes, fixed asset processes, and cost accounting processes. So the total course, if we see that in the next 5 weeks, what we're going to do, is basically these topics. Unit number. So this is our first PDF. This is our second PDF, and we will start our first PDF with a quick overview. So that is basically what we will be discussing and talking about. Just so you know, this will be shared with you daily basis. No, we will share with all of you every day. So both of these training material we will share. And now, how do we share? So that's a good question which you ask Ankush and Alam. So how these material would be shared with you all? Okay. So how we will share the material? Okay. So how training material will be shared, and how videos will be shared. Okay. So for that, what we're going to do, and what we do for every class, okay, we will upload all of them on Google Drive. Okay. So we will upload all of them on the Google Drive, and you can download, you can read from Google Drive. Why Google Drive? Google Drive is cloud. Google Drive is cloud. So everyone can have a backup file on Google Cloud, so they are safe. Okay, so that way they are safe, and we will be uploading on what we need from you is what we need from you all. We need Gmail ID. Okay, so Gmail ID, and send to us. Okay, now when it says send to us, who are our contact person? So we have a contact person, Deepthi. So this Deepthi is our contact person, right? This is the Deepthi. This is my email address. Okay, you can email it to me. Okay, you can also email it to Rajendra at kavirconsulting.com. You can make a note of all these email addresses, so you have a email address. So if you want to talk to anybody and you want to email somebody, so you can. So these are the email address: Rajendra at kavirconsulting.com, and then the fourth person is Manisha at kavirconsulting.com. So these are the four people. You can be in touch. My email address, my phone number, I can also give it to you. So this is my phone number, 973-885-7245. This is my USA number. So if you're calling me and all that, so you know it is US number, so you cannot directly teach. So this is my email addresses and all that. Okay. Okay. So these are the four people you can be in touch with. Now coming back to the course, so we're going to start our first PDF. So what we're going to start our PDF, TV 1000 Logistic. version 10.0. These are the all units I mentioned. And what are those? First, we're going to talk overview, which you have seen already anyways. And then, so in that case, we will go to purchasing, we go to sales, we go to item and inventory, we go to bill locations, pricing, production, MRP, service management. These are all the different modules. Okay. So first, we're going to talk about so introduction to SAP Business One. So let's briefly introduce what is SAP Business One is about. So SAP Business One is a ERP for small, medium businesses. So if we say what is SAP Business One, SAP Business One is an ERP for small, medium businesses. Now, it is more than ERP. It has many other things apart from ERP also, but primarily it is nothing but a ERP. Okay. Business scenario. So you will see that every section which we're going to talk, they will be talking about different business scenarios. So what are the different business scenarios, etc., etc. So that is where SAP business scenario come into the picture. Like you are like a owner of a small company, wanted to implement SAP software. So what can you do and what can be done and all that. So how you can integrate your processes, etc. Now, drive the digital transformation. So this is SAP's own lingo, SAP's own language and all that digital transformation. That basically means SAP will provide you different tools where you can do your processes electronically, right? So digital basically means how you can do your processes which are digital and which are electronic in the nature. So that is the called digital transformation. Now in SAP, if you look at this picture on the right hand side, okay, so these are the various modules. If you see that all these different modules we're going to talk about. So there's a management module, there's an administration module, there's a purchasing module, there's an operations module, sales module, service module, project management module, resource management module, production module, MRP module, inventory module, distribution module, accounting module, finance module. So these are all different modules which are there in SAP Business One, and we will be talking about all these different Zoom. Okay, just a minute. Is it better now? I zoomed it. It is much bigger now? Is it better? Manoj? It is better now? Okay. Okay, very good. So when we talk about SAP Business One, what are the different, yeah, welcome. Thank you, Manoj. So in SAP Business One, these are all different modules. And we will talk about all the module one by one. We talk about the purchasing module first. We will talk about the sales and service module first, project management module, resource module, production module, MRP module, inventory module, distribution module, accounting module, finance module, and all that. Now, if you see that 70,000 businesses, so SAP is being used almost by most of the companies. Yeah, that is why SAP is a great carrier, because SAP is used by so many companies. Whether you work as SAP consultant, whether you work as as a user or whatever, ultimately SAP Business One is a product which is used. If you see 70,000 businesses, and it is a very, very large number. And second part is, a lot of these companies are not only in India. SAP is a global product and it is used all over the world. So that basically means as a career opportunity, it is also globally, means I'm SAP consultant sitting in US because of SAP. So this career, this profile is being used across the world. And you see that there are almost 1 million users. So that is why it opens up an immense career opportunity for the people. Now in SAP, now this is called platform. Now look at this picture carefully. Now in the center of this picture are all those different modules which we talked about. So we talked about sales module, purchase module, distribution module, this module, that module, all those different modules we discussed about. Now, if you look at it here, we also have something called analytics. Now, what is analytics? So analytics basically means how we're gonna do the reporting. So make a note of that term called analytics. So we will talk about analytics, because analytics is important. At the end of the course, we should be able to analyze, report, etc. So that is where the analytics come into the picture, where you can do reporting, dashboarding, and we're gonna see all these different reports and all that. Yeah, we'll talk about what is the role of SAP consultant and all that is. Okay. SAP consultant do many things. Now there is also mobile technology. You see that here there is mobile technology. So mobile technology basically means SAP Business One has mobile app. In fact, you can go to your smartphone and you can download SAP B1 app for free. It is free. Obviously, it is not connected to any data. Obviously, it is not connected to anything, so you can't. It's just have a dummy information into it. But at least, you know, so you can SAP mobile app. So that is where it's come. In fact, you can go back to the mobile app. There is also something called big data. Now what is this big data? Now this is a very interesting concept. If you don't know what is big data concept is, big data. Make a note of that term. So when you are in my class, make a note of that. Big data, as the name suggests, is a big data. Big data basically means when you have a large amount of the data, a large amount of data which we can analyze. Okay. So how can we analyze the large amount of the data? Yeah, that is where big data come into the picture. SAP utility always utility. SAP mobile app is available. If you go to store, mobile app is available. So there is a SAP Business One mobile app. That mobile app of SAP Business One is available. Not the entire software. Yeah. So in SAP B1, in SAP, we have, there is a HANA database. Okay. We will talk about what is HANA database, what this database do for us. So there is something called HANA database. HANA database is a very important master database. HANA database. Yeah. So HANA database is latest technology. In a database, this is in the memory processing technology. Okay, so it's an in-memory processing database. I will also show you how this works, because I have a system where I can show you HANA also, and then how this HANA database technology works. So that is where we will SAP also have big data, which you see here. Cloud technology. So if you look at it here, SAP Business One Cloud Technology. So SAP Business One. So SAP Business One is available in both modes. So it is available on cloud. So which basically means we can install SAP B1 in cloud. Now in the cloud, SAP use AWS. Make a note of it. AWS means Avation Web Services. It can also be used in Microsoft Azure. Okay. It can also be used in Google Cloud. And SAP has its own cloud as well. So practically, you can use SAP on cloud, and you can also use SAP software in premises. So both methods you can do. In premises basically means you buy software and put into server in your company. So that is your in premises. So you can do both. Now you will also see there is something called IoT. Yeah. Are you aware what is IoT? Anybody on the phone aware what is IoT? What is IoT? Are you aware of what is IoT technology? How many of you are aware what is IoT? Any idea? Anybody knows what is IoT? Okay. So we are talking about briefly about IoT. IoT means Internet of Things. There are two words here: Internet of Things. This technology will be any step on. So what is Internet? So first and foremost, before we understand what is Internet, what is Internet? We all use Internet, right? We can't live without Internet. You can live without the food, but we cannot live without Internet anymore because Internet is so important nowadays for all of us. So what is Internet? In a very simple sense, what is Internet? What is Internet? Internet, which is so important for our life. What is the Internet? Internet is when thousands and thousands of computers connected with a protocol. This is the Internet. So Internet is when thousands and thousands of computers, are connected with a protocol. That is Internet, nothing else. This is called TCP/IP protocol. And now we know that why Internet has become so very powerful. Because it's content. Now, what is Internet of Things? What is IoT? So IoT, when this integration goes beyond computers, we are only integrating computers. But if I go beyond computers, yeah, So for example, I go to my vehicles. My vehicle is also computer. Yeah. I go to my home appliances. Nowadays, a lot of home appliances are also a small mini computer. They have a chips. Now I go to my machines, a lot of different kind of machines, a lot of different kind of equipment. You need to know this. This is the technology which will be evolving. After 5 years, after 10 years, after 20 years, you will be talking about Internet of Things. You will be talking about IoT. So you go beyond computer. You also connect through a protocol your home appliances and all that as well. Then we have a machine learning here. What is machine learning? How many of you know this term called machine learning? What is machine learning? What is machine learning? Now, how many of you know what is artificial intelligence? What is artificial intelligence? Okay. What is artificial intelligence? Robotics is different. Robotics is different. Robotics is not artificial intelligence. So machine learning is when machines are learning themselves from programs. So machine learning is a use case, one example of artificial intelligence where machines are learning themselves. Yeah? So that is where we have a machine learning. So when we talk about the SAP Business One, we can have all these entire platform in SAP. That is what this all basically means. So now this is all we have in SAP Business One. These are the different modules. You have project management, resource management, sales module, service module, purchasing module, operations module, management, administration, accounting, finance, inventory, distribution, project, and all that. Okay, we talk about all of that. Now, in SAP Business One, these are all processes. We're gonna do all exercise also. So there's a sales process. There's MRP process. MRP means material requirement planning. So how do we do selling in SAP? So now there is another thing called MRP. So MRP stands for material requirement planning. Okay. So that is called MRP. Now, how does this MRP work? We're going to talk about MRP as well. So this is one of the topic we have. Then there's a purchasing process, how we do the purchasing process, because you should always think about a company, let's say you are a small company, 5 crore, 10 crore, 20 crore, and all that is small company. Now, any company manufacturing, electronic component manufacturing, this component manufacturing, this or different kind of activity. In any company, what you have a sales process, you have planning process, you have a purchasing process, you have production process, you have a service process, and you also have a accounting processes. Okay, so those are various processes which you can have in SAP, and we will be talking about all these different processes one by one. First, we will start with the purchasing. SAP Business One, if you see here, there is all these modules. We talked about as a machine learning, analytics. It has a SDK, means software development kit. Integration framework basically means you can integrate SAP to other applications as well. So that is all the entire stack. I have talked about that deployment. You can do in-premise deployment and you can do cloud deployment. So now SAP Business One is available in both modes, in-premises basically means you can buy software and you can install that software in your own company. That is called that is basically called in-premises. Then you have a cloud, which basically means you can implement SAP in the cloud version as well. So we have in-premises and we have a cloud. Okay. There are different integration scenarios. So like if you look at it, the integration part of SAP Business One, so that basically means you can integrate SAP to various other machines. So like you want to integrate SAP to a printer, you want to integrate SAP to fax machine, you want to integrate SAP to weighing machine, you want to integrate this machine to barcoding. If you say subsidiary integration, that basically means a lot of companies has a different subsidiaries, yeah, subsidiary A, subsidiary B, and there are many different subsidiaries. So how you can integrate those subsidiaries which you have within the one company? So SAP has that solution also. Then there is a ready-made integration scenario. So in SAP, if we look at it, if I don't know if it's readable or not. So there are certain integration like DHL. You see that in the bottom, FedEx, UPS, Mailchimp, SendGrid, Neximo, Expensify, RFQ, whatever, Shopify, Magento. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of that is? Now, if I'm using FedEx, let's say my company is using FedEx. So I want to integrate my SAP to the FedEx machine. So you have all these integration with SAP. Now, what is the example? There is something called here intercompany integration scenario. Intercompany basically means like we have one company. They are here in India and they are also there in Germany and they are also there in China. So how can you integrate the company which is in India, which is in China, and which is in Germany? So that is called intercompany integration. So all those different scenarios are possible in the SAP. Okay, courier services, that's correct. So if you want to integrate your SAP with the courier services, because you want that courier number, UPS, FedEx number, you can automatically integrate SAP to that FedEx and UPS, for example. Now, this is another thing which is very interesting. Now look at this picture. If you see that here, this is interesting and important for us to understand. So there is something called industry solution. And then there is also something called horizontal extensions. Okay, now what is this basically means? Now I mentioned to you in the beginning that SAP Business One is used by 90,000 companies or whatever that, but it's a huge number. So now when you're talking about 90,000 or 80,000 or 70,000 or whatever thousand, then you're talking to very large companies. Yeah? You have one company manufacturing auto part, one company manufacturing shoes, one company is a distribution company, one company is in retail, one company is in hospitality, one company is doing something else in the services. So how can you have one company being used in so many different industries? So if we see here, there is automotive, consumer good, engineering, food and beverage, healthcare, high tech. There are some industry solutions are also applicable in the market if people wanted to utilize SAP in those industries as well. So that is what industry solution basically means. Then there is also horizontal extensions. Yeah. In horizontal extension, there are so many things, accounting, enhanced CRM and all that. I will give an example to horizontal extension. Now, we have one company who are basically in hospital. Yeah, they run cancer hospital, one of our customers. Now, one company is manufacturing auto parts. Okay, that's very different. You are manufacturing auto part and you are selling it to Maruti. Then another company is running hospital. In hospital, what do you have? You have patients, you have doctors, you have X-ray, and you have now that's a different process. So how can you implement? So that is called horizontal extension to specific processes. So you have industry solutions and you also have horizontal solution. So that way you can use SAP in as many as different industries and type of industries horizontally and vertically as possible. Mobile apps. So I have told you already that SAP, this is just an example. And this mobile app is available in SAP, and this mobile app is for both. So mobile app is on SAP. It is for Android, and it is also for iOS. So for both platforms, iOS is for Apple. So for both platforms, you have a mobile app. So we can use mobile app for both platforms. Okay, that is what, and it's for free. So mobile app are free. So you can just download it. Now, it will not have any data. It will have a dummy data and all that. Okay. So it will have a dummy data, but if you want, you can definitely utilize it, and if you want. So that is what it basically means. Now we also talked about in here SAP we have a different analytic and reporting. That basically means you can do a different kind of reporting. You can do different kind of analytics, which you can do in SAP. We will show you some of the reporting and some of the analytics which is there in SAP. Now, how can we? So there is something called web client. Okay, web client is a user interface. How do we access SAP? Yeah. So you can access SAP let me show you my screen. Let me close this. So if you see my screen, and if you see here, there is something called SAP Business One Client. Okay, SAP Business One Client, and so that is basically, if I click into it, then I can log into SAP. You see that SAP Business One. I put my name of company, I put my ID, I put my password, and I can log in. Now, this is one way of logging into SAP system. The second way, you can directly log in with the web. If I go back here, if I close this, now if you see that this is directly on my web. So you can access SAP through the browser. So if you go back here, like in my case, this is my browser, Chrome, and here, if you see that here, I have a login, and I can directly log in from here, and I don't need to go. I log into any Google or Yahoo or whatever. Same way, I can log in SAP through browser, or I can log in into SAP through my. So this is, I have logged in as a browser. So this, what you see here, that is how we logged in into the browser. Okay. So this is login through the different browsers. Now, and then this is SAP, which is through my, we call it through my SAP GUI pad. So this is, see that SAP V1 client. This is client server architecture, and then I click and I log in into SAP. I will show you how do we log in and how do we not log in. Okay, so you can go to client using web browsing. Localization. So if you see that now, that's very interesting point. Okay, that's important. Now, if you see here, there is a localization, and then there are 50 countries, and one of the country is India. You see the localization, and then there are so many countries, And this is important for us to understand. And one of the localization is India. Now, why this is important? So that basically means because we are in India, so SAP Business One is localized for SAP One is localized for India. Now, what does this basically means and why this is important? Okay? This is important. Now, like in India, for example, we have a taxation. Like you might be aware, there's a GST, right? Now, before GST, we used to have a sale tax, a mod weight, and value-added tax, and modified value-added tax, and C form and D form. So taxation is an example of localization. So that basically means all those different local things that you want to do, we can do that in SAP Business One. Okay, that is what this basically means. Yes. So like in SAP, now we have a different software. Now we have a GST, right? Before GST, we have a different taxation. Now SAP has this localization for all these countries: Argentina, it is for US, for UK, for China, Japan, and 50 countries. They have a localization, and it also supports these languages: English and all the different business languages like Spanish, French, and all that. Okay. One of the languages, Arabic. We had a problem. Like we have one customer in Saudi Arabia. Now they work in Arabic. So they said, no, can you support Arabic? And that's one of the languages. In India, our business is done in English. So of course, and then there's Japanese and Korean, Chinese, French, and all these different languages supports. So there are 50 localization. And we also have different languages, business languages, which are supported in SAP. Okay, so that is what this basically means. These are some of the information which is available. Like this is for partner help portal, which basically means if you go to SAP and if you type help.sap.com, okay, if you go to SAP help portal, you have entire training material here for everything under the earth. You will see all different all the different, you type any product you want, SAP Business One or whatever product, and then you can find out all the different, see the SAP Business One. I want to know what is going on the SAP Business One. This is SAP Help Portal, and then you can see this is what is new in 10.0, what is highlight. I want to see resolution. I want to see training for SAP B1, all the material. I want to go SAP B1 application help. If I click on it, this is entire SAP B1 material from SAP available, all modules: finance, sales, purchase, business, CRM, banking, inventory. This is SAP's own material, which is available for free. So anybody need to know, this site is called, which we need to be aware as a consultant and all that, help.sap.com. Now, apart from that, if I close this and let me close this, open, and if I go to, there's another site that is called SAP community. Okay, so we need to go to that also. There is a SAP community, community.sap.com. Now this is another very helpful site. This is welcome to SAP community. Okay, and here we have a community.sap.com. There's another site here that is called community.sap.com. Now in community.sap.com, what you can do, you can see their different topics. You can ask a question. How to ask a question? You can do tagging. You can write a blog. You can read the blog. You can check into the different SAP events. You can check different programs. You can different resources. You can see different other. So this is SAP's own community, and if you go there, you will see all different information. You want to learn what in all the different areas, what you want to learn. You can go back to your area. You can also go to different areas and a different community here as well in the different areas. This is community for different topics, questions, answers, and you can find a lot of these questions and answers here. Does SAP approval to Training Institute for? Yes. Okay. So we have SAP.com. Now we have all these different things. So that was our first chapter, getting started. Any question? Anybody has any questions so far? Whatever we discussed before we go to more hands-on? Anybody, any questions? You can type your questions in the chat box. Okay. Okay. Can we? No, you can ask question anytime, or you can. Anybody can email me as well. So if you have a question, I'm asking, right? People are asking constant questions. So people can ask any question related to SAP, and they can email me also. They can work offline as well. Can I use single data with a different device? Single data with a different device means? Single data with means you can access SAP on with a laptop and desktop with the mobile app. So thank you, Ajit. How to log in? Yes, I'm going to do that. How do we log in? The number given to me by is a WhatsApp number. That's correct. I use WhatsApp. Timing is different. I'm in the US, so you have to be careful. So I'm in the US. So this number. So this is the number. This is my email address, and this is the number, and this is the USA number. Okay. So you have to put a +1 onto this. Okay. So you can WhatsApp me also. You can email me also. I'm a bit confused. Yeah, that's fine. You have a training material. You can go through it. See, everything it takes time. So we have to read multiple times. Okay. That is, we will provide access to these PDFs. Okay. So you have these PDFs, and also keep making notes. Okay. Learning is iterative process. No one learns 100% in one go. We need to do reading, learning multiple times. Then we get it. We understand 60-70%. Then we get it, another 10%, then another 10%, another 10%. It takes multiple times. Okay. Anything in the life, like when you learn algebra first time, you don't get algebra for everything. So do not set up wrong expectation about yourself. It will take time and multiple reading to practice. Then you will get it. Okay. So read, practice. Yeah. For job, we will talk once we get it learning. So job is question after 6 weeks. First we have to learn, right? Okay. So let's continue with if there's no question. Yeah, very good. Thank you. How can you get a job in USA? Well, you're thinking a little too long. First focus on learning, right? Is there any other thing we need to do with SAP? No. Means you can learn whatever you want, but SAP is SAP. We'll talk about that. So first step is SAP. And then there are many other steps after that. Yeah. Okay. So introduction, getting started. Now we are getting started. We're going to log into SAP Business One. How do we log into SAP Business One? How do we navigate into the system? How do we talk about the cockpits, etc.? Okay. So we talked about how do we log into SAP. So, and business example, I want to learn and all that. What is the step to log into the SAP system? How do we do that? Okay. So there are, first of all, make a note of it. There is something called S user, or we call it a SAP user. And then there is also something called end user. You see that here? There is a end user. And there is a S super user. Now, what is the meaning of that is? Okay. So end user basically means who only have, so make a note of this. End user and super users. Super user have access to everything. It's like admin authorization. End user only have authorization to limited function. So there is a super user and there is an end user. Now, how do we log into SAP? So this is how do you log into SAP? Make a note of that term. In SAP Business One, a company is represented by a database. Make a note of that term. In SAP Business One, a company is represented by a database. Okay. So there is a database. Now, how do we log into SAP? So this is my SAP. I log off. Let me exit out. Say yes, I'm already logged in. I log off. So I'm logging off. So I logged off. Now here we have a SAP Business One client. So this is the user interface. So I click on it. It gives me what company it is. So company name is Kavi Consulting Inc. What is the user ID? So I enter the user ID and I enter the password. Enter my user ID, I enter my password, and then I hit OK. So now this is how we log in to SAP. Okay. So we have logged into SAP. Now this is what you're looking at SAP right now. Now here on the top, there is a cockpit. So you see that sales cockpit, service cockpit, finance cockpit. Cockpits are basically their inbuilt dashboards. So these are the different SAP's inbuilt dashboards and their own reports. That is what we have here in SAP Business One. Okay. So this is the SAP dashboard. Now these are the different modules which we're talking about: administration, finance, CRM, opportunity, sales, purchase, business partner, banking, inventory, resource, production, MRP, service, HR, project management, resource management. These are different modules of SAP Business One out of the box. So these are SAP's own modules which are there in SAP Business One and which are there out of the box. So that is what this basically means. So there is a server and these are the clients. Then you can have a different databases. You can choose company. In your database, you see the choose company. You can have multiple databases. If you see that here, multiple different places. If you go back here in the client, and if you want, you see the change company. If you go to the change company, you can have a multiple company. You see that here? I see the two databases. You can have a multiple databases if you want to, and you can choose the one you want. Because in your one database, you can have multiple databases, and you can choose the database which you want. You can choose a company. Remember, this is the screen I showed it to you. You can choose the company you want. You might have a multiple companies. You might have a multiple databases, and you can choose the database you want to go into. Okay. You can also select your different icon. You can hide the toolbar on the right hand side, and which basically means if I log into through the browser. So we go back to the browser. So this is how you log into the browser. So this is second method of logging to SAP using browser. So there are two different ways. I have logged into SAP. Now this is through the browser, and the first one was through my SAP client or user interface. SAP Business One. I close this, and this is what my screen opens up. Okay, and then it will upload all the data which is there in it behind the scenes. System will upload. Okay. Yeah, zooming is limited zooming I can do in this though. Okay. So because when I'm doing is these are very much briefings, so it's very difficult to zoom here. SAP super user or SAP consult, that's correct. So there's a limited thing I can do as for the zooming here is concerned, unfortunately, because that size of SAP screens means I can do some zooming, but there is a limit I can do. Okay. So here, this is I have logged into SAP Business One. There are two versions. So this is SAP Business One, which I logged in. This is basically through my end user. This is SAP Business One, and that I have logged in using my web browser. Two different ways I have logged in. That is what I see. On the right hand side, you can click to close the menus. So if you see that this button, so if you see here this button, if you click on it, it opens up all the different modules. If I close it, modules goes away. If I put it, module comes with. So it will flip-flop between the modules and all that. You can also decide which modules you want to see and all that as well. Okay. So that is where you can see that. Each of the modules, you can also go like a module, there's a sub-module, there's a drill down or search the menu. Yeah? You can search menu also, and you can drill down also. Now, what does that basically means? So if you go back here, so anywhere you want, let's say you want to go to sales. What do? You go to sales, and within the sales, you have a different functions. That is the menu part. You want to go to purchasing, now you are looking, this is SAP, actual SAP, by the way. Yeah? And then you go to purchasing, and then you can look into the different SAP screens, or different SAP functions. If you are in want to go to finance, then you can go to the different finance modules. So these are different finance modules. If you want to go to inventory, you can go to different inventory modules. If you want to go to different banking, you can go to different banking modules. So that is how you can go through different modules. You can also search. So there is here a search button. Yeah? So there is, you want to search something, if there is there, if you type it, you can also search. So if there is anything. And then apart from that, you will also see there is open transactions as well. Okay. So you can have open transactions there as well. Okay. Open transactions basically means, like if I'm using, if you see the sales quotation, sales order, delivery, return, AR down payment, AR payment, AR invoices, AR credit memo. Now, this basically means if I'm using these transactions all the time, in that case, I can directly click onto it. Means my job is to create sales quotation, then I can click on sales quotation. If my job is to make a sales order, I can click on the sales order. If my job is to make a deliveries, if my job is to make returns, then in the bottom right hand side, you will see these are different messages and alerts. You see that? Different messages and the alert. This is another functionality. This is SAP's own inbox. So if I click on this, let's say you have a sales quotation. If I click on it, I can see the list of my open sales quotation. So that is basically, you can you want to see that? It's my quotations. I want to go to sales order, list of my sales order. It's my list of sales orders. So you can put all these open documents and all that. Now in the bottom, you can create also. So see that here, sales order. If I click on it, it will allow you to create a sales order directly. So you can directly create a sales order from here. Now, so this is one method. I have this common function. I'm in sales. So I want to create sales quotation. I don't want to scroll down. I have an open. I create delivery. I want to create invoices. If I want to create invoice, I just click on it and I can create invoice. Okay. So I can click and then it will open my invoice screen. Or what I can easily do, that I go to sales AR invoice, and then I can go to here also. But I reach to the same place. It goes to the same space. Now, navigation is something which you will learn during practice. Okay. Practice make man perfect. Okay. It is all about practice. So practice make man perfect. Multiple times. It will take time. Practice make men perfect. Practice does not make women perfect though, because women are born perfect. No further perfection needed. No further perfection needed. It is the man which is a problem. In most cases, joke apart, it is true though. Man is the problem. Normally, the wars is not caused by the women, it's the men who take the sword and knife out in most cases. Okay, drill down and search the menu path. So these are the different menu path and toolbar. If you see here, these are different icons. As you will go many times, you will see that. And what you see here, like you see that here, all these file, edit, file, data, go to, module, tools, window, help, and all that. This is what you will see here. File, edit, view, data, go to, module. If you want to go to module, you can go to the module here also. So there's a second way of going to module. Then you also have a different tools. You want to print preview, you want to print, you want to send email, you want to do SMS, you want to do fax and Excel and all that. That also you can do. If you see here in SAP, look at my screen. You can print any document you want to print. You can do email from SAP. You can also do SMS from SAP. You can also do faxing from SAP. You can also download data into Excel also. So all these different, when you will read and practice, don't try to memorize all of them. But when you do it, this will come to you, you will learn. How can you practice SAP? Yes, we'll provide SAP access some point of time. Not now, but after a few days, we'll provide access to SAP to the people. Okay. First, we will go through it. Once you have some maturity, once you have data, after let's say, few days, this will be provided. You will be provided access to SAP also. Now, there is online help. I already talked about online help, which is help.sap.com. So it's a very helpful tool. So this is online help. You can go there, and this is a community. So these are two very important websites in SAP you can go through. That is called online help. You can actually click on the help, and here also it will give you within SAP also. You can actually see the help on the different. If you see that here, there is a help documentation online help. Okay, so you can go there also. So that is what you see here, online help. There are different cockpits. Now make a note of this button that is called cockpit options. Cockpits. You see the cockpit. Now what is the cockpit? So let me go back here. See that my cockpit. In this my cockpit, I have this sales cockpit. If I go to finance, you will also get a finance cockpit. Cockpit is basically summary reports which you can get in SAP system. That is called cockpit. Yeah, it is initializing. This is the cockpit. Cockpits are inbuilt SAP reports, dashboards, KPI. This is here, and if you go back here, you have all these different SAPs. These are the Agile. These are all SAP's own dashboards. These are all SAP's own KPIs, own reports, which is there out of default. Okay, out of the. So that is why we have. This is called KPI. You can also see, you see all these different options and all these different options. That is what you see, all these different options. Okay, this is a sales and purchase and production, equity, asset and liability. We're going to talk about a lot of these reports, but these are all different reports and these are all different dashboards, which is available on, and this is also sales dashboard, service dashboard, finance, purchasing. You can choose. What we are saying here, we can select what kind of a cockpit we want. Yeah, so we can select what kind of cockpit we want. Now it's refreshed. It is refreshing the data. So this is my finance cockpit. It will give you my aging overview, my overdue. This is basically my own internal report. So that is what we see here, cockpit option, and you can choose which cockpit you want. So let's say if you see there is a sales, there is a service, there is finance, there is purchasing. Now, if the purchasing guy don't need sales and sales guy don't need purchasing, so we can give an access to the specific cockpit which we want. Okay, in SAP system. So there is a different cockpit options. You can also personalize. There's a plus sign, there's minus sign. If you look at my screen here, you see that there's a here. If you click on this change button, and wherever you see the plus or minus, yeah, So that basically means if I want to add anything, I can add. If I don't want something, I can remove it. That is what we see here. Plus, you can go to change, you can add it, and you can select it. So if you see here, you see that here, add button. If I go to plus button here, in the plus button, I can choose which one you want. I don't want this, let's say. I can say, no, I don't want it. I can select the one. All these are check marked. And because all these are check marked, that's why all these are selected. Now I unselected this. I want to select it. I select it. I want to unselect. I don't want it. I can unselect it. So all these different dashboards and all that, like this, by clicking the button, you can choose which makes sense, because there are dozens and dozens and dozens of them. Not everything makes sense to me or relevant to me. So I can choose the one I want. And other one I don't want, I can unselect them. So the whole cluttering goes away. I only want to see these 5. So I can select those 5 or those 10. That is what we have, plus of this one. This is the widget gallery which you talked about. Widget gallery basically means the list of widget. You see that there's a plus sign, there's a check sign. The check sign basically means this is selected. So if you see that there's a check sign, that basically means it's selected. If you see that here there's a plus sign basically means it is not selected. So that's basically it's not selected. If I want to select, I can click on it. If I click, it's selected. If I click again, it gets unselected. Then it becomes a plus sign. If it is a plus sign, that basically means it is not selected. So that is why we have here select sign and plus sign. And then we can choose the way we want. This is called widget gallery. Gallery basically means SAP provides you list of these applications, and from these applications, the one you want to select, you can choose those and you can select those, and then you can unselect those which you don't want. Okay. So that is what this basically means. Okay. There are different type of cockpit types. Make a note of this. It is a cockpit widget type. Make a note of that term. Cockpit widget type. In the cockpit widget type, there are analytic widgets. There are operational widgets. Make a note of these 2 terms. Analytics and operational. Now, what is the meaning of this? Analytic widget and the operational widget. Okay. Analytic basically means where you can do dashboard. Now let's take an example. So I exit out from here. So now, if you look at my screen here, now this is an example of my analytic widget, where you have a dashboard, you have a KPI. KPI means key performance indicator. In the dashboard, this gives you my aging overview. What is my customer? What is my top 5 customer? So this is my dashboard. So that is what you will see here, analytic widget. Then you will have certain item called operational widget, common functions. Common functions, messages, alert, recent update. Now, if you look at my screen here, this is my common functions. That is what you see here, common functions. So what I can do is I can put my common function, because in the real world, when you're a user, I'm a salesman, I'm a purchase person, I'm an accountant, I'm a senior accountant, I'm a general manager sales. So based upon my responsibility and all that, I can choose the function I want. Yeah. So I can select the function I want, and I can do the function from here. And then on the right hand side, there's a message and alerts. And that is why you can have messages and alerts, because a lot of these, I can see what message we have, what alert we have. I can click on it. On the top, if you look at it, there is something called inbox. So like you have your Gmail inbox and other Hotmail inbox, and SAP has its own inbox. And if I go back here, this is my inbox. In the inbox, it will tell you all your item which is due for you. This is SAP's messages alerts. That is what you see here, messages and alerts. You can see your different messages and alerts. So it's like an inbox of SAP itself. That is what it's here. These are all standard workbench item or workbench widgets. If you look at it here, workbench basically means where you can do different transactions in the SAP. Update my cockpit. Okay. So if I go back here in the bottom, if you go into the bottom, these are all different dashboards. These are all different items. And these are all standard out of the box. We'll talk about them. We are not understudying any of these. Now, these are all different, finance processes. These are finance process. What is my finance process in SAP? This is my finance process. And then what is my inventory process? So this is my inventory process. What is my purchasing process? So this is my purchasing process. So I do purchase request, I do purchase quotation, I do my guru receipt and all that. Yeah. And and if I click on it, so I can have a budget. So let's say I want to create my purchase order. I want to create my purchase request. I want to create purchase order. I click on it. It opens my purchase order screen. This is my purchase order screen. It's a common function. And everything is a pictorial view. I want to go to my vendor. It takes you to the vendor. I want to go to my purchase reports. I can go to purchase report. I'm a part of the inventory processes. I want to click on inventory process. I can click on inventory processes. I want to do any other process. I can do any other process. Purchasing process and sales process, all those different processes you have out of the box. That is what you see, standard workbench. Now, these standard workbench is for the inventory process, finance process, purchasing process, sales process. So if you see here, you will see the inventory, purchasing, sales, and the finance. So these are the process related to 4 processes in SAP. So if you go back, scroll down. So there's a finance. If you go on the top, there's inventory. This is purchasing. This is sales. Okay. So this is the 4 widgets we have in SAP. We can log in. These are the common functions we talked about. So these are the common functions we discussed. So these are common functions we can use. There is another thing of customization you can do in SAP. So this is a common function. If a user doing something common, then you can also recently updated object. Recently updated what recent object was. So if you see here, so if there was any recent document, if I scroll down, see that here, so you will have recently updated. So in the recent updated, these are I did this credit memo. I did this guru sheet. I have done this document. So whatever this is called recently updated. Because I want to see that when last time what I did my last process. So that last process automatically appears here. So that is called my recently updated picture. So that is what I have my recently updated widget. Okay. No audio? What? Can you guys see my screen? Is my audio coming to you? Okay. So this is recently updated. So there's a business object counter that basically number of transactions. So in the widget, there's a counter also. So we'll go 5 more minutes and then we'll stop the class. Okay. So here we have a counter. So you see the different transactions here. These are the different counter. Now, what is the counter basically means? So if you see here in the counter, this is my number. So counter basically means I have a number. So this is the counter number. So this is another type of business object budget where you get a counter. These are different dashboards. These are different dashboards which you see in SAP. So you have different dashboards. Then these are different KPIs, key performance indicator. My total asset value is 4.26 million. So if you see here, this is my KPI, key performance indicator. So if I see my total asset is 20.18 million. So my company, this is my total asset. This is my total asset. This is called KPI. Make a note of that term also. That is called KPI. Couple of more minutes and we'll just close the chapter and then we finish for today. Saving cockpit we talked about in the last. We can save our cockpit once we save it. And we have a different cockpit in SAP. You have a sales cockpit, purchasing cockpit, finance cockpit, inventory cockpit. So all cockpit is divided into these 4 categories. So if you see here, there's a sales cockpit, service cockpit, finance cockpit, inventory cockpit, and then which you can see in SAP for the different functions. Assigning user to the role. So you can also assign, there is a 2 words. There is something called user and there is something called role. So you can assign your user to the role. Role basically means somebody is a sales manager. Sales manager is a role. Inventory manager is a role. Finance manager is a role. And then you assign that role to the particular cockpit. So that is the role. And that is what this is a screenshot where you can assign your role to that basically means which user can see what kind of cockpit, because we don't want finance to see sales and sales to see finance. Yeah. You can assign those by the user role. So alternative ways to assign user to an authorized group and cockpit. So you can assign, you can say this is inventory, this is a Harry, and this user is assigned to inventory. Then we can have you can also have define different available cockpits, and you can choose different kind of, do I want only sales? Do I want purchase? Do I want inventory? Do I want all of them? You can choose. So if you see this button, if you go back here, so we have the button. If you click on this button, you can choose. You want finance, you want sales, you want purchasing, you want inventory. That is what you see here. You want finance, you want sales, you want purchasing, you want inventory. That is what the 4 things you have here. So you can choose the one you want, okay? Because only some people are related to some roles. Personalized display setting. So I think what we will do is, this is a good breaking point. So I will be stopping now and then we'll continue next week. So we will stop now and we will continue next week. Okay, so we'll continue next week and we'll stop now. And so thank you everyone for everyone to joining. So tomorrow we'll discuss same time. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. IST, Indian time. We will continue where we left. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions anybody has? Thank you very much. Yes, should we send mail? Yes. Please send an email. Okay. Please do send an email. Okay. Thank you, Gagan. Thank you, Suresh. Now, time is 8 o'clock, unfortunately. Dhansiri, thank you, Manjul. Thank you, Shivam, Sachin, Alam. Everybody would be provided. So for one more thing. So for tomorrow, we will have separate GoToMeeting webinar. Okay. So every class will have separate GoToMeeting webinar. So everyone will have a separate webinar, and one of these people, so Deepthi or Rajendra or Manisha, any of these people will email. You can email it. If you don't get it, you can email to them. Okay. So you will get in every class there is going to be separate GoToMeeting. Okay. Separate basically means every day you get a separate invite. That is what it means. Okay. Can you please tell me how to know today's meeting? How to know today's meeting? How to know today's meeting means? I didn't understand Shivam, your question. What exactly is the this? No, this GoToMeeting webinar is the one you are using for conference call, right? So when we are doing this webinar, right, we are using GoToMeeting webinar. So we are using GoToMeeting webinar to do the session, right? So you're listening me using GoToMeeting webinar. Okay. You want to see my picture? What is wrong? Oh God, I don't know if I have a picture. Let me see. That is very unusual demand. So let me see if I have my picture. Maybe I might have. Let me see if I have. Okay, I don't know. This is me. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Take care. Thank you all.